As we're starting out throughout this morning, those temperatures are warm and muggy, about 73 in Winston-Salem, Mount Airy as well, 67 in Galax and 70 degrees in North Wilkesboro. So very similar to how we started yesterday. Really don't have as much activity on radar. Most of that is out here towards the west, towards the north also, and seeing kind of into the mountains. So Jefferson, Galax, maybe having some of those storms in just a little bit. The rest of us, we're kind of watching that really as we go into the afternoon and the evening hours. Rain chances, storm chances, 50 to 70% this afternoon. Still staying hot and muggy, but we'll have that full forecast for you in more details in just a few minutes.
Carly, thank you. 4:57 happening now. The FDA is recalling a blood pressure medication because of a potential cancer risk. The FDA says valsartan has a chemical in it that could cause cancer. Not all the products with it in it, though, have been recalled. So if you take that medicine, call your doctor to find out if you need a new prescription. Elsewhere this morning, we've all heard the saying, life is better at the beach. But now there's scientific proof that the ocean does indeed make us happier. A recent study found people who live at the coast have better physical and mental health than those who do not. Scientists say watching and listening to the ocean actually changes the frequency of our brain waves, putting us into a mild meditative state. A mother in Nebraska is mourning the death of her newborn child. She says after delivering her baby at home, she called 911 multiple times but couldn't get through. Right now, the family is demanding answers on why. Sarah Feely reports.
I said, call 911. She says, I'm calling, but I keep getting a busy signal.
Joanna Coddington says she called 911 3 times after delivering her baby girl at home 3 months early. When she couldn't get through, she called her mom at work.
My mom answered, and I told her that I gave birth to the baby and she wasn't breathing.
Teresa Kirby raced home twice more, calling 911, this time from her phone. Not getting through, they got in their car and drove to the closest emergency room. More than 15 minutes of busy signal from the 911 center.
Nobody knows what the possibilities are if 911 could have came, but the end result is the same, and that's that baby Angel's not with us.
Douglas County 911 Director Dave Sleeter says the dispatchers were overwhelmed with 3 to 4 times the normal amount of calls, most non-emergency, reporting fireworks complaints.
That just infuriated me because real emergencies of life and death were not able to get through.
But the 911 center says carriers are the issue. Sleeter says there's a certain number of connections from each cell phone provider, and if they're all full, the user gets a busy signal.
There's a possibility, if they would have got to her, then there's a possibility she could have been here, but I'll never know.
WXII 12 News at 5 starts right now.
President Donald Trump and the First Lady are back in Washington after a historic summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin. What lawmakers on both sides of the aisle are saying about the president's words.
We are not the cause of any problems in our communities, but rather we are the solution.
Plus, a drug rehab center in High Point has some residents up in arms. Why they are concerned this morning about the area it's relocating to.
And a man accused of hurting a Winston-Salem police officer will not face additional charges. What authorities say they base that decision on. And good morning. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kimberly Van Scoy.
And I'm Devontae McKenna. First at 5 o'clock, though, a check on your forecast. This is a live look this morning in Lexington. Storms rolled through parts of the Piedmont yesterday. And meteorologist Carly Cassidy joins us now. Would that be the same case for today, Carly?
That is. We have a bit more of a chance for more widespread coverage today, so some good news for that. Even from yesterday, though, we did have some of those stronger storms. Some people got a little bit more lucky than others. About over 1.5 inches just to the north of Yadkinville, and about an inch, just over an inch for Jefferson. But the rest of us kind of just a couple tenths of an inch. So some got a good amount, others not so much. Today we have another chance to get a little bit more. Out there right now, not much activity like yesterday morning. Had a few isolated storms. This morning, all that is out towards the west into the mountains already. So we're going to continue to watch this. May just have some of those storms crossing into Jefferson, to Galax, Wilkesboro within the next hour or two. So we'll continue to watch for that this morning. But even as we go throughout the rest of today, that rain and storm chance is going to increase. So there's that cold front that's lagging behind behind it, kind of the storms, all that's ahead of it, and that's what's going to push through as we go throughout the afternoon and evening hours. That's our storm chance for today. Not looking like too much of a severe potential as we go throughout the afternoon, but we could be having those heavy downpours, meaning those storms do get going. Can't rule out any of those gusty winds, the lightning. For right now, we do not have that severe risk in place for any of the area. Temperatures outside right now, it is a warm start. We are into the upper 60s, low 70s, 73 in Winston-Salem, for Burlington, Greensboro, and even Asheboro, 72 in Lexington, and 71 in Martinsville. Still have the high dew points, all that humidity that you felt yesterday still out there this morning, into the upper 60s, low 70s, so very muggy. But one good thing about this cold front also, it's going to clear some of that out. So here for the tryout this afternoon, 90 degrees, so still going to be a hot one. So it may sound like a good day for the pool, but with the storm chances, definitely take that into consideration. We'll take a look at that whole storm chance timing as it does bump up to about 70% for the mountains this afternoon, coming up in just a few minutes.
Going to Washington this morning, President Trump returned to the White House late last night after a whirlwind trip abroad and summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin.
Nicole Killian is live in Washington, where fallout from that visit continues. Nicole?
Yeah, good morning to you, Kim and Devontae. And President Trump will be meeting with members of Congress later today, but for now, he's defending what he said.
I think it's a shame. We're talking about nuclear proliferation. We're talking about Syria and humanitarian aid. We're talking about all of these different things, and we get questions on the witch hunt.
As he returned to the White House, President told Fox News Channel's Hannity that the Russia investigation is driving a wedge between the U.S. and Russia. President Putin also told the network that Russia didn't meddle in the 2016 election. At their press conference, the president said he had no reason to doubt him, even questioning U.S. intelligence. Some are now calling the president shameful, disgraceful, even treasonous. But a few lawmakers are coming to his defense. That includes Kentucky Senator Rand Paul, who said it's important to have diplomatic channels open with adversaries to try to change their behavior. Kim, Devontae?
And Nicole, what other reaction are you hearing?
Yeah, well, that treasonous comment was coming directly from the former head of the CIA, John Brennan. Also, the director of national intelligence, Dan Coats, the current director, I want to stress, did come out with his own statement defending the intelligence assessment. So certainly a break with the president on that front. And then certainly we saw reaction from Hillary Clinton, who questioned what team the president was on Twitter just yesterday, then going on to say essentially now we see following the president's press conference. And then you have a number of congressional leaders coming out in opposition to the president's summit, and some of his comments ranging from House Speaker Paul Ryan to Majority Leader of the Senate, Mitch McConnell. Back to you.
All right. Thank you, Nicole Killian, live in Washington. And we are also hearing from North Carolina Senator Richard Burr. He is the chairman of the Senate Intelligence Committee and says Russia did interfere in the 2016 election. In a statement, he says in part, quote, "Any statement by Vladimir Putin contrary to these facts is a lie and should be recognized as one by the president. Vladimir Putin is not our friend and never has been."
5:04, looking ahead this morning, Charlotte is one step closer to hosting the 2020 Republican National Convention. The City Council voted 6-5 in favor of allowing that convention to head to the Queen City. Las Vegas is another front runner this morning. The Republican National Committee is expected to make the decision about the host city this week. Charlotte hosted the DNC back in 2012.
Alamance County is replacing its voting machines, and that could cost the city more than $200,000. Our partners at the Burlington Times-News say the current touchscreens are set to become decertified. The old machines will be replaced by machines that use paper ballots. That'll cost the county an additional $200,000.
A state prediction this morning at 5:05. A drug rehab center in High Point is relocating. The City Council approved Caring Services request late last night. The facility plans to move from Chestnut Drive to East Chester Drive. Some residents share concerns about crime and a decrease in property values. City leaders say sex offenders will not be able to live at the rehab center.
Our City Council made a forward-thinking and courageous decision to support an agency whose work directly or indirectly benefits every citizen of our community. We're grateful for their decision, and we're grateful for the community that came out to support us.
The director says none of the 911 calls at the center involves crimes involving a resident and community member.
And staying in High Point, a woman is facing murder charges because of a deadly heroin overdose. Leah Jackson is charged with second-degree murder in connection to the death of a 20-year-old man. Police say he died last week at a home in the northern section of the city, and that he had overdosed 5 times before.
Sad news this morning. A child is hit by a falling bullet in Winston-Salem, and this morning police are looking for the person responsible for firing that gun. It happened near Patria Street Saturday afternoon. The bullet fell through a canopy covering a backyard swimming pool. Officers say a child has minor injuries this morning.
A man accused of hurting a Winston-Salem police officer won't face additional charges. Officers say that decision comes after reviewing body cam and surveillance video. In April, police say Zachary Lynn crashed into a patrol car and dragged an officer who was trying to arrest him on South Broad Street. That officer is on administrative duty because he is still recovering. Now, Lynn could face more charges in a separate home break-in case.
We've been falling for 7 minutes straight, literally falling. They haven't said anything, and I'm going to die, and I don't know why.
Next on WXII 12, terrifying moments 37,000 feet in the air. Passengers trying not to panic after the oxygen masks drop and their ears begin to bleed. What investigators say caused that plane to fall thousands of feet in just a matter of seconds.
Plus, migrant parents separated from their children at the southern border are calling out for help. The heartbreaking revelations they make in an open letter up next. Right now it is 5:07. You're watching WXII 12 News.